steps through the gate, leads a team, no time to wait. Bold and fearless, ready to fight. Eyes like fire, heart so bright. Richards follow her command. Brave and loyal, take a stand. Battle evil every day. Mystery woman, steady sway. Major Sam, leading strong. Through the stars she moves along. Mindful heart, warrior true. Dim with strength, shining through. Major Sam, leading strong. Through the stars she moves along. Mindful heart, warrior true. Dim with strength, shining through. Dim with strength, shining through. Universe needs a guiding star. Major Sam shines from afar. Enemies crumble at her will. Silent courage, iron still. Every challenge she does meet. With her heart, steady beat. Guardians of the unknown. Taking journeys far from home. Major Sam, leading strong. Through the stars she moves along. Mindful heart, warrior true. Dim with strength, shining through. Major Sam, leading strong. Through the stars she moves along. Mindful heart, warrior true. Dim with strength, shining through. Dim with strength, shining through.
Welcome in, everybody. Hope y'all are having a fantastic Wednesday. I mean, middle of the week. Hopefully you're having a great time. Good to see everybody here. Welcome in. You can see I just got done scrapping another ISS Jelly. That'll help for the future. Only I can get the other stuff I need to scrap the other things, but hey, another day upon us maybe soon. Welcome in, everybody. Do me a solid, because we'll be talking about a couple different topics today. Number one, there will be an interview with the general manager of the game. They have done this with VIP. Now they're going to be doing this in the official Discord with everybody. So I think that's going to be prudent for you to attend if you can. Now, if you cannot, don't worry. I will have a recap and information here on this channel following that interview. So whether you attend or not, I'll give you the scoop on what's going to go down. So I think it's going to be interesting. So also, public arenas, PvP. We'll talk about that as well. Get y'all's thoughts on what your experiences were. Mine were freaking fantastic, but again, that's obviously biased, because if I say it's fantastic based on just my experience, that's not really getting a well-rounded thing. I mean, I had a great time, man. I was able to beat some G6 teams, several 61 plus players when we didn't have any 61 plus, and that was just shocking, but also tons of fun. So that was my experience, though I will add there were negatives to that experience, because definitely experienced some lag issues that weren't there last week for me. And obviously that's just, it's a constant struggle for us fighting with the overlords about lag and et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to talk about that. And then of course, go over everything else that good people right here want to talk about. So welcome in. If you are new here, don't come here very often. Glad that you're here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And if you're not, well, maybe we can find a way to make it better. So good to see you. Ryan says my wins were good, but lag and targeting issue, the ship's still a major issue. Yeah, I had it this time around. Not terrible. I had two matches in particular. So I went 14-1 this past Monday. And I had two matches in particular where I had to reboot in the middle of the match. And there's definitely nothing good about that statement. Like, there's no redeeming quality. Now, I still love that I won my matches. That means lots of loot. I was able to get great rewards. And I had a good time playing with members of the community, which for me is kind of the bigger point, where thanks to these type of mechanics, I'm able to play with the community, and I personally really, really love that. So that was a lot of fun. In fact, I think all but one of my matches I was playing with somebody who was in my chat, either on my team or against them. And I thought that was pretty neat. But beyond that, still having issues, stability, and lag. It's the same thing I said kind of last time we had this discussion, where cool, got a cool mechanic, people are enjoying it. However, if you're going to have lag and stability issues, especially this deep into the mechanic, you're never really going to capture the greater number of players. And that's not even speaking to the other issues, of timing, of when it runs, right? So let's still grabbing y'all's opinion. I'm very, very curious. Let's see what else we got. Didn't bother. Well, 2Q, if you didn't bother, well, that doesn't help. Don't waste time commenting if you didn't bother. Olvie says 18 matches and 18 wins. Feels a bit lagging. The timer too long. Like takes 30 seconds to end the match. I will say that the starting and ending timers definitely feel like there's a lot of waiting there. And so I could completely get that. I would then add 18 and 0. What level are you fighting? What was your group? I got to know the details of your group because that's an amazing score. 18 and 0 is very impressive. Tell me some details about your group, Olvie. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, Curly says they haven't tried public arenas. They've just been sticking with the Alliance, but went 7-2 this week, undefeated the week before. One thing I have noticed, and again, anecdotal because I don't have any numbers to track this. I can give you numbers of who participated, but like in terms of pub matches versus Alliance matches, it feels like arenas has also gotten a little easier because with there being randomness to a lot of the teams, there's not a ton of coordination at times with those teams. So making it a little bit easier to fight back, as it were. Now, again, that's not saying they're easy, but I'm saying that it seems to, and again, anecdotal, I'm acknowledging, I'm just kind of pulling this out. It seems that it's easier if you're doing it from a public run versus group run. Now, Tim says we went 8-5. Unfortunately for us, we faced Rep. Dude, you still went 8-5. You know how happy I'd be to go 8-5 2 weeks ago. Like I just talked about going 14-1 past Monday, but 2 weeks ago I went like 2-8. I mean, it was bad. I definitely, maybe it wasn't 2-8. It was definitely a losing record. I think I had 2 wins, but I think it was 8 losses. It could have been a couple less. But regardless, that's still a lot, right? So, that is a little bit of a shocker. A bit of a shocker for me. So, Olvie says we have ops 56, 60, and then we have like an ops close to me or lower. So you actually are doing something very similar to what I was doing, which is trying to lower your average ops to around 56, making it less likely for you to find G6 players, thus making it more likely that you're going to win, right? Like that's the basic idea. My best match, and again, I need to give a real big shout out to Scotty and Shadow. My best match was actually this one right here. I'm gonna put it on the screen. This was my best one. This was us getting a narrow victory, 789 to 767, against a 60, 64, and a 56, with our team being 56, 56, 60. And that 64 was no pushover. They had an Akira and they had a Borg Cube. Both were over 7 bill power. So it was pretty wild to be able to pull that one out. But that was a lot of fun. In fact, that's actually one of the ones I've got to grab it out of my Twitch stream and save it. And you even see it if you were there. You even see it. I basically wanted to give up at the very beginning. I'm like, no way, not a chance. And yet we managed to pull it out. Great W. That was a lot of fun. So, yeah, that was good. That was good. Croto, good to see you. Welcome in, my friend. I hope you're doing well. So that was my best match of the night. Not very often. This is twice now I've been able to beat a Sigma-led group. Doesn't happen very often. Man, it is so much fun when you manage to make that happen. I was the weak guy in that group, so I was actually running support and speed. That's all I really did. And managed to come out with a pretty gnarly victory. So if you have your best matches, feel free to share them in our Discord. Chrono, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you again. They said they enjoy public arenas more than I did Alliance arenas. Nice. Now, is that because your Alliance doesn't typically do a lot of arenas at all, or is it just simply you found better results? You just found better players in the pub matches. Good to see you, Gurge. Welcome back to the game. You hate this because of uneven matches like that one? Why would you hate it? Because I won. Why would I hate that? I love that. Now, I will say, there can be times where it can be uneven in terms of matchmaking. But I will say this. Most people I've run into so far. Now, if you get offended, that only means it applies to you. Don't get offended if it doesn't apply to you. The only, most of the people I've run into with a lot of those issues are complaining about winnable matches. And what Arenas has shown me in the past few months is something that I feel like we already known or already knew, but is now obvious, which is that a large portion of this player base doesn't do PvP, so they don't have the required materials. Thus, they struggle in those PvP-centric elements. It's fine. But I will say that I personally feel at this point in the Arena's experience, the argument for matchmaking is for the most part overblown. Now, there are definitely some specific instances that still exist, but generally speaking, matchmaking, I don't believe is a problem. There are extreme outliers that are really bad, but I do not believe that matchmaking is any longer a major issue for the vast majority of people who participate. Again, there are exceptions. For example, if you're a level 66, constantly being matched up with 70s, that can definitely be problematic. But we're talking about just like the general number of people who do arenas. Do not feel like that's as big of an issue as it once was, and I would not even say it's a majority issue at this point. It's just getting people to really get into the PvP mindset of how to play the game. There's so many matches that I'll see posted like in my Discord of like, look, terrible matchmaking. I'm like, that's a very winnable match. Like, I literally won that match. So it just takes time to, redevote to that or not. You don't have to actually redevote to it, because one of the redeeming qualities of arenas, in my opinion, is even if you lose, you're getting 40% of the winning rewards. You just try again. So CEO says, in my opinion, matchmaking is pretty good and really just needs more players to increase the matching pool. I would agree with that. And I think these past 2 weeks are another example of that, because we've seen less issues with people saying, hey, the matchmaking is terrible. But like as Chrono can say, we had last week like 3,000 more people do arenas than did the week before. Now, this past Monday, and I would definitely say that the lag issues we were just speaking about play into this, there were about 900 less people this week versus last week. I think the lag and stability definitely irritated a lot of folks, and I think that's completely fair. So Scope has definitely got to get their head screwed on straight and fix those things, but I'm getting to the point where I don't think matchmaking is one of the top issues any longer. There are definitely still some major issues. Razor says had won 49-50-49 versus 49-45-53. That was absolutely stupid loss. G5 ships do not belong in teams that are exclusively G4. 100% disagree with that, because that's a very, very winnable match. I've seen 49-50-49 absolutely stomp 53s a lot. So that's actually a great example, Razor, of what I'm speaking to. Like, I've seen those matches, and I'm just not trying to pull out like one or two examples. I've seen that happen a lot, where high G4 teams beat G5 teams. It's not rare. So that's an example. I don't think that's a matchmaking problem. I think that is, how can our team get better, right? And it can definitely be done. It can absolutely be done. Like CEO said, G4 epics especially can beat G5 uncommons, but not even those. Heck, just a level 50 player with a strong NSCA can do that. So a lot of this is really working, if you want to strategize with your team and get better and making goals. Like if you say, hey, I want to be better than PvP arenas, one thing that struggles if you're going to do that is if you're a player who focuses on ops. Like if you're constantly moving up ops as, quickly as you can while still doing the PvE content, you're just going to struggle with arenas for the most part, because arenas does require you to focus on that element of the game. And the PvP element of the game is much more difficult than the PvE element of the game. And I just really want to reiterate, that's fine. Like, I'm okay with people doing that. I'm not saying everybody here needs to be PvP centric. I am saying that if you want to excel in PvP arenas, like Razor saying, hey, at 50, we need to have an epic. Well, this is why you need some of those things. Yeah, heck, even a really strong 46 ship will beat a 53 uncommon, right? I actually have a screenshot of a really crazy one. And again, it's just who you end up matching with, of a Katinga beating a Dederadex, right? That's an extreme example, but these are the types you run into in PvP arenas. So, Apex Shred affect arenas a lot. I've not noticed it affecting it a lot. Now that affects really more based on what range you are. You're not running into Apex Shred very much in G4 and G5 matches. You will run into it more in the G6 area of the game. I ran into a lot of Section 31 Georgios, and when I had to do those fights, you could definitely tell it weakened my Apex builds. But that's something that mostly you're going to experience going against the higher levels. So it depends on where you're at. I mean, if you're a player at 46 or 56, you're probably not going to see it as much as if you're 66. So, max fortify is your friend. Yeah, Ryan. And again, I know a lot of people talk about the speed issue, and I do agree. Reduction in effectiveness with speed is still something I disagree with and want them to change. But I do want to add that there's a lot there. Like, I'll go in every arenas match and see people not using Mantis, people not using Cerritos, people not using Max Fortify. You know, those are all things that, sorry, I'm OCD wiping down my desk while I'm talking. Those are all things that can be used to make your, experience better in terms of performing on the field. So Spock says, as a very low spin player, my record is basically 500 at best. I can still grind my way to higher rep levels despite the losses, but there's so much in the store I'll never have access to. I'm assuming you're going to finish that sentence because there's a ... Yeah, I mean, look, not necessarily because you can't string enough wins together. Not necessarily, though. For example, let's say that you take a pause on leveling up and focus on strengthening your ships. Can you go from a 50% win rate to a 60 or 70% win rate? I think you can, and we've seen that happen. It just goes back to what you focus on. Now, if you're a player as a light spender who just doesn't really care that much about PvP in general, yeah, that absolutely might stay how it is. So, are you over not being able to have token space for Horde? War 16? What do you mean? Because Horde has been kicking butt in their war, and we've actually grown as alliance, which is very rare. Just random distraction, but it's very rare for alliances to grow during war. Our alliance on 710 has grown, and then the opposing alliances have lost members. So, I mean, we've been having a blast, man. We've been kicking butt and taking names. So, yeah, it's been great. It's been fantastic. How you doing, War 16? Not sure who you are on 710, but welcome and glad that you're here. Max Fortify does not work on public squads. Correct, Sandra. I actually found this out and was hoping, I guess it logically makes sense. I was hoping that it would work, but it did not. I tried to max fortify my alliance mates. It's actually something I want to bring up to the overlords in my next meeting with them about PvP arenas, that it should work if you're in public arenas. It should absolutely work that if you have a group that is your group, you should be able to max fortify them regardless of what alliance they come from. And that is one of the negatives to, I would say, the public side of PvP arenas, because max fort is obviously, if you've done the research, those unfamiliar with how max fortification works and Cerritos works, when those abilities activate, most of the bonuses you're getting are based on your research. So it's the way I've always described it is a lot of these research trees in the starships area are on-off switches. So when you get Cerritos boosted, all these have the button flipped on for a limited amount of time, and when they're not on, they're off. Now there are like some light bonuses, like with a Cerritos, you get a 100% damage improvement, etc., which is great. It's fun, but that's not really going to help the game that much. So, is what it is. Stupid as sailor? I don't understand what that means, War. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everybody's here. Good to see you. So, having these things available, as you can see, I've not even finished mine. I'm really bad about focusing on things that for me are more important. So I need to come back and do a lot of those. But that needs to be something that's available to players in PvP arenas. So, Brian says that Ops 52, Cerritos, and Titan Research are max. That's awesome. As you can see, definitely something I've not focused on enough. Now, on the flip side, if you come over to like my Star Path research, doing quite well. Okay, I've gotten all the main ones I wanted. I have some available here now because I've leveled up the building. These were the least importance of the group, but I got, the big ones I wanted that really add that extra oomph to what we're doing. So that's been good, right? So finding things that are fun, finding things that are engaging, whatever that is for you. That's got to be the goal. And thanks, John. Mission key reminder for those who haven't done it. Actually, need to go do that on my 710 account real quick. Let me log in while we continue chatting. Continue to throw in y'all's thoughts. So Tracy says the buffs and debuffs shouldn't be allowed since cloaking isn't, in my opinion. Well, I actually disagree with you, and here's why. I think cloaking not being allowed makes a lot of sense, because depending on your level again and the research you've done, cloaking can last a significant amount of time to the point where you would never be able to take down a armada, for example. My cloak on my Vorcha is like 5 or 6 minutes. Right? Like it can just sit there completely cloaked. I could just launch things and then never be interrupted in the center. Whereas the Cerritos and the Mantis is something that's available to everybody, right? and you can still combat those players. Like somebody can max fortify an Enterprise D, Cerritos boost it, I can still sting it, and then we can see who can go toe to toe and win. But if you cloak, you're withdrawing the ability to negate an action, where you're talking about some people having enough cloaking to basically stay cloaked the entire 10-minute match. And I just don't feel like that is a good mechanic. I understand where you're coming from, that, you know, anything that adds buffs, negatives, etc. I just feel like cloaking is very unique, and that's why it's deactivated and not working. And to me, it makes sense, but I can understand, you know, people disagreeing with that. So, best way to get the ISS Jelly without territory store: Armada chest. Always pull. Look, I'll talk about some things like ABS, always be scrapping, but always be pulling Armada chest. You know, turn that into an acronym that you can knit on a pillow. That's another thing that every player here should try to be doing. Always pull Armada chest. So important, so valuable. Definitely not an easy mechanic. Like, I'm not saying that, oh, you start doing it in a week, you have an ISS Jelly, but if you're always doing the pulls, then you end up with a surplus over time. Again, I'm not sitting here trying to tell y'all, I'm not lying to your faces and saying, hey, if you do what Rev's saying, you're going to get an ISS Jelly every week. Definitely not what I'm saying. Oh, I got a Ratar in BP. Nice. But what I am saying is, if you do it over time, you will end up with an abundance, and you'll end up with more than you actually need. So like, I have more ISS Jellies than I need based on the planning of going to Enterprise D and maxing it out via the Enterprise A scrap. So if you're doing that consistently, you're going to end up with what you want. It's not a quick process. Like most things in this game, they want everything to be painful unless you're willing to spend. If you're like me, you're not willing to go out and buy an ISS Jelly. That's fine. So that means you're going to have to slow roll it, and that goes back to these G3 chests. That's why we're always pulling it. As you can see, I've got my timer on the epic chest there. Always pulling it. Got to have it. Always pulling that epic chest. And I'm always pulling the G3 chest in general for two main reasons. Three, honestly, but two now. Rare Armada directives, like you see right there. Epic Armada directives, and then ISS Jelly BPs. But also, you know, the little bit of uncommons you'll get and stuff is nice. Always pull these 3-star packs. The 4-star ones, if you can afford it, definitely worth pulling. Again, if you can afford it, and a must pull if you're trying to earn and obtain a higher ACC. Remember, there is an ACC lock for opting up, and yeah, just something to recommend. Now, personally, I don't pull this unless I just have a lot of rares I've been doing. I do love the G5 ones, which I'm sure a lot of people in the chat do. Well, so what else we got here? Especially want to get all those questions about the PvP arenas, because that was our main topic. So EM says, good to see you today, working on using my PvP skills. Thanks to you. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Again, the hope is that, you know, these rewards can be beneficial to anybody who does decide to participate in those mechanics. That's my hope. You know, there's a lot of good stuff in that faction with Terran Empire. Not easy to get, certainly not saying that, but you know, the more everybody works toward it, the more you can get it. And I've got the G5 Innovative Engineering, but I really want the G6 Innovative Engineering. But it's costly. It's like 46,000 rare. But I did just hit Platinum 1, which I'm quite proud of. And I'm currently in the top 10 on my server for PvP arenas in terms of ranking. And I'm the highest ranked G5 player. So I'm quite proud of that. That doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of the world, but I'm proud of it. Yay. So, all right, let's see. I'm loving the ship parts converter. Finally, something to do with all those survey parts. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I've not done a video on it yet. I am going to. I purposely held back on that video, just wanting to, you know, one, see what the community thinks about the exchange rates, and you know, kind of get that as an idea. And I'm going to have a big video about it as well. Best way to XP grind the jelly? Fantastic question, Sean. Best way to XP grind the jelly? Simple answer: auto grind in Texas space or platinum. So leaving it out overnight, yeah, I mean, it's annoying and it takes a long time. Again, the ISS Jelly loop, I hope I've never sold as like this quick fix. There's nothing about the ISS Jelly scrapping loop that is quick. Right? It is a lengthy process every way you look at it. It's just important to do, in my opinion, because of the long-term benefits. But it is absolutely a grind it out, takes a lot of time to do. And then for those curious what the ISS Jelly costs in terms of blueprints in the territory store, here's the cost because they actually have it activated in my alliance right now. So I have that on the screen. I have a question about the ISS Jelly and the Enterprise A. How many ISS Jellies do you need to max and scrap, max Enterprise A, and then use that to help level up the D? Hard like that depends on what your conversion percentages in terms of where do you have your efficiencies for ship parts and ship materials. So short answer is it can be several, but as long as you are profitable, you put the main resources into the next ISS Jelly, and whatever's left over goes into the Enterprise A. It only took me a couple. But keep in mind that y'all see my percentages. I mean, like 1,300%. And we went through some of the different things like the Dolomite research, some of the, what we had an artifact, the fleet commander abilities, several things that I've used to make that happen. All right. So it depends on where you've got those. And then you're naturally going to get a lot of those materials from your refineries anyway. So this is just giving a jump start. And then once you can get that Enterprise A scrapped, especially if you've done the efficiencies we're talking about, you'll be able to turn that into an Enterprise D. So, can we get Scopo to consider changing the day and time the arenas run? I mean, not you, but generally speaking, you, the populace, have brought that up many times. There's two things I can say to that. Number one, they've heard that. Number two, they're running it right now, not saying they're not going to change it. They're focusing on other things like lag, stability, etc. But they're also running it when a very high portion of the player base is active. I don't know if they're going to change it. Do they know that people are asking for that? Yes, absolutely. It's certainly not falling on deaf ears. They know it's there. It's not being ignored. But at the same time, it's not the focus point on changing right now. Still saw a question. I mean, I've said before, and y'all have heard me say it, I think that a good thing to do, in my opinion, would to roll it in a, each day it backs up one. So, do it on Monday, Sunday, Saturday, Friday, just follow the week. Do it in a 6-day cycle, skipping Tuesdays because of patch days and everything. That's what I would like, at least giving more opportunity for people. And we did see, I don't know if Chrono's still here, when they ran the test ones on like Wednesdays and Thursdays, we definitely saw more people do it who weren't able to do it before. Right? It's definitely a tricky one because at the same time, like I said, there's a high number of people who are available. And I know a common rebuttal that is always, well, Rev, just because somebody's online doesn't mean they're active. And the tricky thing is to get people to understand that, yes, they're active, right? They're active. And Matt says an 8-day cycle. I personally would hate an 8-day cycle because that means I'm waiting longer. That means I'm waiting more than a week. I would rather be shorter than longer. In fact, I'm actually one of the people that I think arenas should run multiple days a week. That's just me. Because now with public matches, it's easier to find a match. Like, you don't really struggle. My matches are pretty instant. When I host a squad, it fills up within nanoseconds, and we go out and go. I feel like at this point, you could run that on multiple days. They just need to get their stability stuff fixed. They need to make it to where it is viable for everybody to be able to play without worrying about needing to reboot their game or their device overheating. All the same things that we say a lot. That's where I'm at with that. So, yeah. Just see everybody. By the way, we actually had somebody from 710 come in, asked how we were liking the war. I'm like, well, I mean, we've grown in members. The other alliance has shrunk in members, and we're having a blast. So I don't know who it was, though. That's the thing. I don't know who they were, but they didn't give me who they were. But it was fun to see in the chat. With your vids, I'm going to confirm it. I don't know what that means, Siggy, but if you repeat it, I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have. Good afternoon, Jeff. Welcome in. Are they going to make a fixed schedule for Sarah's Invasion? Not that I'm aware of. James, not that I'm aware of. Would like that, obviously, like every other player in this chat, but not that I'm aware of. Evo the War? Very nice. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'll be curious to see when their leadership reaches out for an end, but hey, maybe they never do. Remember, I had on server 20, we had a war that lasted about 4 years. So you never know how long these things are going to go sometimes. Hey, Domo, good to see you. Good to see you. I'll need one shard to get Gwen DeMarco. I've had 5 St. Patrick's Day pulls. Still do not have Gwen DeMarco. Yay, Scopely RNG. That's funny because I've pulled Gwen on all my accounts so far, but I've not. I really want that full pull. I want to be one of those rare folks who manages to get the full pull. Obviously, I'm currently not one of those folks, or else you would have heard about it. But I've not full pulled it. Great officer for armadas, entities, and PvP. Let's see what we get this time around. I'll still take the premium mirror dust, but yeah, I'd love to get a full pull of Gwen DeMarco. Like, that is the eye in the prize, man. Eye in the prize. 2 questions today. Have a North Cut, which is best follow with Crozier, then Enterprise, or Sanctus into Daradex. Away team shop, but don't see level 56 blueprints. There are no level 56 ships in away teams. Sadly, that does not happen. We've been asking for that for a long time. We will continue to ask for it, but that doesn't exist. Now, on the other point that you brought up, I actually need to put it to you. And the other point you brought up in terms of like the next steps, what I would do if you've got a Northcut, I would say go Northcut, Sanctus, Enterprise D. That's just me. You know, I'm not a fan of single faction, especially in today's game. I think single faction makes very zero sense. Not trying to be offensive if that's your thing, man. If that's what you enjoy, feel free. Like if you're one of those like, hey, I love the game, but I also love being immersed in the game. So if you love being immersed in the game, and part of that is I want to be allied to the Federation, well, then be allied to the Federation. But I think that at minimum, everybody should be doing 2 factions. And with today's state of the game, if you're in G4, I think you should be doing 3 factions. And alternate where you're going for. Northcut, I wouldn't dump too many mats into, would really go more into the Sanctus. But then I would go Enterprise D at the very end. That way you have that faction credits. You know they're going to be saved up, and you're also getting 2 very effective ships in different ways. So that's what I would do. However, you got to find what works for you as well. We've been at war with the Bully Alliance for months. It's more than likely never ending war. They keep losing players because we raid them to point, they boot and loot them. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. Right? It's as long as, because my goal, I only have a few rules for when my alliance goes to war, and I'm very strict on this. No trash talking. Do not DM them talking like, oh man, y'all suck, y'all are terrible, blah, blah, blah. Do not go into global chat gloating or goading for, you know, them to interact with you. Ignore them completely. That's my big thing. I want war that's fun. Like what we have in, again, now, it could happen. If I catch a player doing it, that is worse than a row violation to me, because I get it. Sometimes you hit a minor you shouldn't have, slap you on the wrist. If you're out there trash talking and stuff, that's an almost immediate boot for me. But what it ends up happening is if you're kind to people, you can actually educate them, teach them better mechanics. And I've been able to do that with the alliance we're at war with on 710. I'll message some of their high-level players like, hey, I see you're working on your Valdor or your Pylum. I would recommend changing your PvP crew around. This is why you got beat by this player. You know, and I've said this before, and this is not going to be a unanimous truth because not everybody plays how I play. But I've actually made more friends through PvP mechanics than I have through PvE mechanics. Like, very important for me that my alliance operate with a certain level of decorum and respect. And my hope is that in that, no matter the disagreements an alliance might have, you can build friendships. You know, to me, it's silly to go into these type of games thinking that everybody's going to be friends and sing Kumbaya, right? We can't manage to pull that off in real life. Why would we manage to pull that off in fantasy world? But you can still be respectful, fun, and build some great friendships, even if you disagree on big thoughts. That's how I operate with my alliance. So, good to see you, Siggy, by the way. Greetings, Revan community. Greetings, Flashman. Glad that you're here. Ron says, I live by your ethos of efficiency research and such. Do you have Arena G5 ship BP efficiency? Yes. It's been difficult and frustrating to get into arenas to get it. I do have it. It was actually one of my main initial focuses. So I do, in fact, have it. Here, I'll back out and show you where I'm at in that. Now, I need to get to a point where I'm saving for the G6 efficiency. But I do have the G5 Innovative Engineering. I do not have G4, but I did go ahead and pick that one up to make my Enterprise D, Rotarn, and the Daradex plans of the future cheaper. So I did grab all of them. You can see right there. Also need to go do more rep grinding because I'm really bad about not rep grinding. But I need to go do that. But look at the cost. 48,000 rare to get that one. Now, I've got 8,000 right now. I'm going to be doing my pulls here in about an hour and a half to match up my timers. But I've been doing a lot of the premium mirror dust pulls, so I've not been saving for the G6. I will do the G6 at some point, but for now, I've been focusing on other things, which means I've also not been pulling the officers like more mirror Data, more mirror Picard, more mirror Uhura, who is very good for me, even though Apex Shred is now, you know, kind of a direct counter to her. Still very, very good. How about a Bad Crew Spring 2025 video? You know, I'm down for that, but I will say this. Last time we talked about this, people said, hey, we want Bad Crew videos. Nobody sent me Bad Crews. If y'all want a Bad Crew video, y'all need to send some crews. Not a, oh, look, they brought a mining ship in their warship. We know a mining crew is, you know, a mining crew. I want legit send. You need to send some legitimately bad crews if y'all want to make a Bad Crew video. So Any chance the overlords are or would consider changing treasury so that it's active until the battle pass overflow is complete? Unlikely. No, because they're running it twice a month now on a pretty consistent schedule. So I don't see that changing just because you asked the question. Could you ask? Of course, you could always ask. But do I see that as being likely right now? I don't, with those being the reasons. Because they're already running it twice a month at a specific, pretty consistent time right now. And here is the current treasury. We're at the ship parts treasury right now. And this is what mine looks like. I'm not going to go after this one, but it does have some good stuff. And honestly, I just said I don't want to do this, but I might honestly do this one. Truthfully, like yes, I want officer shards, but considering I need to max out my Tribune, and this would give me 7,000 more. Honestly, I might end up doing it. To be honest with you, I might have finally reached the point where treasuries that are ship parts focuses are more important than officer shards to me. We'll see. I've got to obviously complete my dailies and finish that out before I can do that. Yeah. I got enough broken parts. Wrong thing I clicked there. I click this one. Get our dailies done. I actually think I forgot to click the button yesterday. Watch your top 10 ships for Ops 40 through 50 post from 3 years ago. Could you do an updated one? That's a great idea, Buttercup. Sure. Remind me. Post it in I have a channel in my Discord for videos that you'd like to see CCs make. So then not only maybe I make it, maybe another content creator can piggyback on and make one as well. Right? I think that could be neato. I have multiple people all chime in on what they think the best is at any given time. How's that sound? Sound like a plan? Sounds like one to me. Make it happen, Captain. All right. 217 Sanctus BP's bought, 133 to go. Wow, Tarkus. Now, the next question to you, Tarkus, is do you have, hey, you don't have to, but do you have the Latinum? Go ahead and finish it out. I mean, if you're not 56, don't do that. I'm just saying, like, if you want it now, if you're like me, you have a real bad problem of not being able to wait. Go ahead and do it now if you got the Latinum. Saying, got the Latinum. Thought. We need more War Room events. Agreed. Right now, the War Room is paired to incursions. But I agree with you. Yeah. No disagreements. Yep. All right. That's a lucky full pull of DeMarco. Chris, I hate you, and congratulations. Like, I think that you're a terrible person, and I hope you step on 18 Legos and choke on 7 pieces of ice, but congratulations on your full pull for Gwen DeMarco. I'm very unhappy for you. Good to see you. Good to see you as well, Viper. Glad that you're stopping in, my friend. You like arenas? Happy to hear, Flashman. What do you like about arenas? PSA, don't spend lat on fax credits. I wouldn't agree with that, Razor. I mean, if you have the Latinum, yeah, that's fine. Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. Does FC Kirk's tactical selectable for damage apply to ROM Klingon fed MU hostiles? I have to go look up specifically which one that one is. Well, let's go see. All right. Tactical selectable. So, which one? You talking about these? You're talking about like this Romulan one? Where's the Romulan one? Klingon, fed. Oh, yeah. Right. Why does this one have a different symbol? But no, this does not. No. Because those are, the tag they have is mirror, not Romulan. That's really bugging me why this is not, why can't you have the Romulan symbol here? See, you got it here. That's annoying. I know that's probably stupid. Like, people are out there going, Rev, why does that matter? And in the grand scheme of things, you're right, it does not. That bugs me. That fed Klingon random skull really irritates me. Also, I need to come out here and actually upgrade all this at some point. I need to go check the, heck, it could be going on right now, the next Fleet Commander event. It could literally be happening right now. But I need to go check the calendar of when that is. Bad UI design, it should bug me. Well, it does. It does bug me a lot. It is now. Just passed it. Did I? I thought I was in. Well, let me get these done. Get these done. They are happening right now? Okay. Oh, then I'll go ahead and do that right now since it is. Since I'm thinking about it. If anybody out there, oh yeah, right there. right there. I mean, not really anything cool, but still. If I'm going to do it, you want to get paid for it. Let's go in my refiner. We're going to make some Kirk stuff. All right. Also, somebody tomorrow, please remind me to do my Vindicator event. I have forgotten 2 weeks in a row. Somebody please remind me tomorrow to do my Vindicator event. All right, let's do... I want to do that when there's this button. Now the slider doesn't make much sense. All right, let's go hit this button. We're going to go get a whole bunch of Kirk stuff. We get a whole bunch of Kirk stuff. Do it. There's 2 events for that? Nice. That's even better. 2 for 1. Shout out to Viper who makes our calendar, by the way. You would expect Rev to memorize it, but with things always changing. Ugh. Ugh. My response. All right. Well, we're going to take advantage of it here while we got it. I'm also going to reset my node over here on this other server, 710. Finishing my dailies over there has gotten quite easy. All righty. Not battling crazy ass 60, 62s while just 56. Nice, Flashman. So what you're saying, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that the matchmaking for you has been a lot better since Public Arenas has come out, right? Which we would hope that would be the case. 2 events so you can blow your FC on the first event 20 minutes before the second one starts. Yeah, Razor, I'm not going to be here in 20 minutes. Like, I'm going to be here. Like, I'm not going to die, but I'm going to be doing something else. And again, and I've talked about this before. Yes, it's important to be efficient, but hyper efficiency, I'm done with that. Now, the first 3 years of the game, I was stuck in that rut. I've left that rut. It no longer bugs me. Cool, no big deal. I missed something, I missed something. I'm not saying you have to be that way, but I no longer am hyper fixated on hyper efficiency. So I just don't feel like I'm missing anything. It doesn't bug me now. So I get it if it bugs you, but as long as I'm getting something, that's all that matters. Officer health is actually really handy. Remember, as you go higher in level, all these researches, you really need as many officer stats as you can get. Reason being is, especially the G6 ships, have such high requirements to get the below deck bonuses, but the below deck bonuses are huge. I'm like 5,000%. And that still matters in today's game. So if you haven't already, do that. I don't need that, but that reminds me I need to actually do this on my level 0.9 account for server 710 because it does need that. Oh, they overlap now is complaining because they didn't 40 minutes ago. Oh, okay. Well, my apologies. Either way, won't affect me, but I get it. There are those who want a hyper efficient, and that's fine. I wouldn't have cared either way. Maybe that's the problem with Rev. Who? What's that compared to? Versus, yeah, we'd rather have that. Yeah, why not? Yeah. That way I'll get a little bit extra critical oomph for my explorers. What we got up here? Increases Klingon rep gained. I mean, yeah. Definitely doing that. It's not much, but hey, 20% is 20%. What else? Anything else in here? I guess I need to rank him up as well. You can tell I haven't done a ton with the OG here. Go ahead and hit that button. Level him up. All these years, and they still cannot deal with daylight savings. Well, honestly, they've given up even pretending to try. If you remember, I asked them about that last year, and they straight up said, nope, we're not going to do anything. And I'm just going to go ahead and assume it's the same way this year. Now, if y'all would like, I can ask if it's the same this year. I'm just going to assume it's the exact same this year, that they just don't care, and this just is how it is. That's an assumption. But last year, if you remember, on Stay of the Game, when we had the Overlords there, they just straight up said, yeah, that's just not going to change. So, or for ship components, I think I need gas for now. Select, not a lot, but it's good enough for the girls we date. In the month, Europe starts daylight savings. They'll be back in sync. Yeah, what they said, because I guess I paraphrase and shorten what they said, and that's not fair. What they've said is that they'll just let the time correct itself, basically. So I shouldn't word it as like, Obsidian Hamster just said, screw those guys and gals, who cares? He just said, look, we're not going to adjust it. We'll just let things naturally progress. So there you go. There you go. All right, we want this one. Upgrade. My phone and my watch, even my fridge can adjust a DST. Your fridge? Wow, you fancy man. I don't have a watch, but my phone does it. So, yeah, and my computer does it. So I get you. For Chimeras, what's a good officer to pair with Dejosh and Toli? Gwen DeMarco. Gwen DeMarco. In fact, I'll be doing that here in a second because you're right. That's where we're at right now. It is that time. The offset times drive me insane, as they should. You know what I hope? I hope the world gets rid of daylight savings time. I understand there was a reason back in the medieval days to have daylight savings time. In 2025, call me a horrible person. Rev does not believe in daylight savings time. I'm done with it. And I think you should be done with it too. Now, if you disagree with me, well, guess what? Welcome to living in the real world where we disagree with each other. Reference back to what I said before about being respectful and having decorum. I think daylight savings time is outdated and outmoded. But I'm sure there are those who disagree. All right. Wrong, get rid of standard time. You know what? We should get rid of time. It's a social construct that causes nothing but harm. Get rid of it. We don't even need time anymore. Look, the sun's up or the sun's not. That's all that matters. You're alive and you're here. Time. All right. Back to focus points. If you don't have Gwen DeMarco and you're running Dejosh Toli, there are a couple different things you can do. I mean, you can run Hull Breach if you've got a crit, hoping for crits. You can do Con will work just to do a crit chance increase if you want to increase crits. Some people will run Dejosh, Con, and then like Gorkon / Lorca just because they want that Hull Breach damage for the events for better damage production because the ISO stuff doesn't count. So, a couple different routes you can go depending on where you're at. I'm going to go look at where those events are now, though, because y'all got me curious. So, FC Enlistment, I'm currently... it's Premium Mirror Dust? Ooh, Rev did not realize this event was Premium Mirror Dust. We might be doing a little bit more than that. Yeah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we might be doing a little bit more than that. I did not realize that it was Premium Mirror Dust. Okie dokie artichoke. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. I can live with that. What? I get why you're there, sir. But do I want to move you? I don't, actually. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. Going to leave it alone. And away we go. Just not even going to bother. I'll head up here. Nope, wrong one. Head up here. And we're going to smack some things. Sadly, can't make it to here yet, but we're going to smack some things. Your non-PvP trickle of dust, you're right. It's a good call out, Branding. And this is a great example of something that I can easily overlook at times because I am getting a daily source of dust, right? So this is a great opportunity for those who have a different play style to Rev to pay attention. If you're not a PvP player, this is an event that you should have pegged on your calendar every time that comes around. I've seen it before, and I've actually scored in it before. Y'all remember, I think it was about a month ago, I got number 1 in this one. But it was by chance, right? I wasn't really focusing on it. If you're out there and you're a player who just doesn't do PvP, you don't really care about arenas, you need to focus on getting this FC enlistment. Save up for it because you want that premium mirror dust. Every little bit you can get is super, super important. What's your FT and CT on your NSCA? Nothing. No FT nor CT on the NSCA. Neither. Nothing. Holy crap, 15 million Latin was spent, and I have the Sanctus. Congratulations. See, I knew you weren't going to be able to resist if you were 56. I knew it. Look, I get it. Now, would I have spent 15 million Latinum? Probably, but then I would have complained about it, right? And I would have called myself an idiot. But you know what I also would have done? I would have hit build, and I would have had like this big smile on my face, like my cheeks would hurt because I'd be grinning so much about my new big ship. So, can I blame you? I cannot. Were you being efficient? Absolutely not. You were being terribly inefficient. But I bet you're terribly happy, and honestly, it's a video game, and dang it, that's important. So, camping spot after Op 60. 61. Oh, look, somebody left me a freebie. 61 is honestly a solid one. I'm not joking. 61 is perfect just to get started, but then after that, 63. All right, let me go and do this turn in so I can get another set of Oh, I got the 100. Look at Rev balling out. Nice. Yeah, somebody left me a half dead one. I'll take a freebie. Sure. Well, 136 years of research build time to get that Sanctus early. Yeah, but again, Razor, sometimes fun is more important than efficiency. Because what's going to happen, let's just say that he's there for 6 months. I bet he gets all that back. Just for how the game be paying stuff out. I bet he gets it back. You can buy BPs with Latinum. You can buy faction credits with Latinum. I feel like every time I bring this up, there's always somebody new who didn't know, which is I think is great. Hey, you can buy faction credits with Latinum. You absolutely can. Things in the background are really... What are those? Oh, those are the mines. Got you. Those are the mines from the movie. Okay, that's neat. That's actually the first time I think I've noticed that. But yes, if you have a deficit of faction credits, you click on the button that you're buying the ship in. Click on the button, and then you get what you want. Now I'm short. Darn. All right, cool. And we got to collect our chests to make sure we get all the rewards because we need that salvage. Nice. Got it. Open. But yes, if you have a deficit, let's say you've only got 1,000 faction credits, go to whatever ship you're wanting, click the button of, say, give me 10 blueprints, and it'll say, hey, do you want to use Latinum because you don't have enough faction credits? And you just go, yes, I would like to get rid of my Latinum, please. And you do it. Now, I do want to throw out, though, Razor, because you said 136 years of research build time. You know how much that was in G6? Because remember, as a G5 player, you're getting closer and closer to G6. 15 million is not that much. That's like 10 days, not 136 years. So, I mean, it's fine. If the player's happy, Rev's happy. I want the players to have fun. And Lord knows we need anything we can that's even a semblance of fun in this game. So, all right, got that done. Nice. IMS, that'll get done. Now, I don't personally go for the SLBs. I just want to make sure I get enough done so I can do my pulls, which is more Gwen DeMarco. I've gotten my ship. Hold on. Almost skipped it. All these things in here. Get this in. A little bit of blah, blah, blahs. And Gwen DeMarco, please. Game hates me. But you know what? We knew that coming into this. We knew the game hated Rev. Now we have proof. So I was going for the SLB. What against the top damage crew for them? So if you're going for the damage SLB, my recommendation is to focus on crit, hull breach type builds. You don't want to focus too much on ISO because ISO doesn't like to register like that. So it depends on what officers and stuff you got below deck. But the general premise is you're going for a traditional run of standard damage creation. Criticals and hull breach are a great way to do that. Got some good loot, but not the one you want. You're right. I got some good loot, but not the one. Like if I could give that loot to my Ops 29 account, I'd have a fantastic day. Fantastic day. G6 price per day is more than 300. Oh, Razor. 1 day is 1.5 million Latinum. Now, the times for high level play are less, right? So you don't, like right now, I'm upgrading my operations to 59. And after all my helps and the time that's passed, I have 416 days. So just to bring up a comparison real quick, I'm going to bring up operations 63. Where's my building? Operations. And let's just do 60. All right, the time on that, 198. That's stock. That's what no research is, nothing, right? That's nothing messing with that number. So yeah, a lot more expensive. This is why, though, if you've ever wondered, Rev, why are you harping on G6 players farming the Mirror Universe hostiles for speed ups? This is why. Because you need a lot of speed ups, and they're incredibly expensive with Latinum. This is why I tell people, hey, if you can, you need to be farming. All your G6 farming needs to be in the Mirror Universe. All of it. All of it. Because you want the speed ups. So for example, if you're a level 65 player, whatever, you want to be grinding in Mirrors, Tholas, because 15-hour speed ups can drop here. Now, there's currently a debate ongoing on whether they've nerfed the drop rate. I don't think enough data has been done to confirm that, but let's just say this. For every 100 hostiles you hit, you should get 2 to 4 15-hour speed ups. So Another fun tidbit. If you are a player out there who says, hey, what's another way I can get Sigma speed ups that won't cost me anything? PvP arenas. You might go Rev. That makes no sense. How the heck does that work? Glad you asked. From fighting players in 60 plus. PvP chest. Right there. So, get whatever you can. Hoard whatever you can for the future. Always nice. Always nice. Do what you can do. Do what you can do. Save up what you can. But it's those type of tactics, though. Like, it's that paradigm that if people have it, is why, you know, players will not experience the pain points that early adopters did. You won't have to go through the same struggles, same concerns, etc., because of stuff like that. So pick up those little tricks, start growing at it now, have fun. Attempting your first level 62 Chimera will let you know how it goes. Please do. I'm very curious to know how it goes. I truly am. Also, look at this thing. It's almost 800 million. Even though it has stayed tier 6, this is all the new researches I've been dumping into it. Things just growing and growing. I mean, you saw we actually just dumped some into it with the Admiral Kirk. There's my cube. Still not a great ship, but solid. There's my NSEA. NSEA is a little bit behind, you can see. So beryllium spheres might actually be the play. I might actually, I really want more Gwen DeMarco shards. That's tough, but honestly, the beryllium sphere option, as you get tiered up the NSEA, becomes more and more tempting. I could get another 60,000 beryllium spheres or 3 Gwen DeMarco shards. I think the beryllium spheres are going to win today. Next time around, who knows? But yeah, kind of need those beryllium spheres. All right. The Sigma speed up throttle is what finally forced me to trial lock so I can grind the mirror transports. There you go. There you go. They can only add beryllium spheres to alliance tournaments like they added Gorn and others. Agreed. Look, NSEA is great. And I talk about like how strong it is because it is amazingly strong for its ops level. So you can be a level 50 player with an 800, 900 million NSEA, but that does require you buying all those beryllium spheres. For crew you're using for those chimeras? Yeah. Tejas, totally. Gwen DeMarco. I know you use mirror for a lot, but when you need liquid omega, what system do you grind? Same, mirror. How, you might ask? I know you're going ref. What the heck? So here's what you do. You take that NSEA and you go and kill all of the loot goblins, the ISS Enterprise E's. You want to kill the ISS Enterprise E's. They spawn here, they spawn here. They'll spawn there, they'll spawn there. They might even spawn there. You could even find them in other places. Such as there, right? And there. There you go. They drop liquid Trellium D. Now, keep in mind that I get a lot of my liquid Trellium D from the refinery. But, yeah, if you want to farm liquid Trellium D, you can also do that in mirror. You're just going to be bouncing around systems looking for the loot goblins. The ISS Enterprise East. And don't forget, there's a research for your NSEA that makes it to where even at level 1, they're basically guaranteed to take out the ISS. Right here. Protector, isolated damage versus ISS Enterprise E. Just literally one rung of this. You're going to take out those. And farming those drops the liquid. If you're wanting to farm liquid, I would still do that in mirror space. You need to do this as well, though. Lowering those costs of tritanium is definitely a goodie. Lower those costs, baby. Lower them down. All righty. What we got back in the chat? Look, took every single XO buff and FC ability I had, but finally completed a 60 solo wave. Not bad for a lowly op 61. Congrats, guy. That is awesome. Because that 5th wave punches like a son of a gun, doesn't it? So I think that is great. Good job. Good job. Speaking of season passes, guess who's got to do waves and territory? Go see when the next territory is, because I know on server 710 it's in like an hour. 4 hours. Am I going to remember that? Probably not. Hey, but we'll be streaming right at 4 hours from now. So if you are around at the time, feel free to remind Rev, hey, don't forget. There you go. There's a link so you can remind Rev. We will have territory right when I'm doing Thunder Buddies, War Thunder stream, so I can at least throw something out on a node. Appreciate y'all for being always helpful. Guess who maxed their Gwen DeMarco today? Spartan, if you say you, I'm going to ban you from the channel. How dare you come in here with a max Gwen DeMarco? Absolutely terrible. Absolutely awful. Great. All right, what else we got, chat? Other comments, questions, things, etc. Does the Invasion store have ship BPs according to your level, or is it just G5? Yes, according to level. You're welcome, Spartan. I mean, I am happy for you, but at the same time, I hate your guts. So, I don't think people here blame me either for that. Sometimes that anger is justified. Righteous indignation, I think, is what they call it in the old Bible. Righteous indignation. Got that for you. Spartan, I do love you, and I appreciate you supporting the channel. Thank you very much. I'm going to use this as an opportunity from Spartan to plug. Remember, we only try to do this like once an hour because I'm not the guy who wants to be sitting there panhandling all the time. But if you like content, it only happens because people like you donate to the channel, support me and my kids to pay the mortgage, to pay the light bill, and to pay my taxes. In 99s, baby, you know what this season is for me. It's the Rev Super Poor because Rev's paying his taxes season. Thank y'all for supporting and contributing to the family. Thank you, Spark, for gifting 5 members to the channel. And if y'all are out there, there's the PayPal, Venmo, Cash App link. Everything helps. Everything is appreciated. Thank you so much. You know, I've been able to run this channel for a long time where I don't put ads. Like, I don't put those sponsored things in every video I make and stuff. And that's all because people like y'all are kind and you donate. I just want to say tremendously thank you for that. Thank you, Spartan, for gifting 5 memberships to the channel. Also, don't forget, you can go to my website, revdeuce.com, if you want to support there as well. Big thank you to all of that. And there's enough of the plug. Thank you. Just at Ops 38, Max D4. What are my options for silent hostiles, or am I getting ahead of myself? Assume you're getting ahead of yourself, but at the same time, that's cool. It's okay to like try to prepare for the future. It really is. I would personally say, if you want to prepare for the future, I would be focusing you more on solo armadas, just at level 38. But yeah, I mean, silence is not something for, until you're 40 plus, and honestly, they're not as hard as they were when they rolled out. But for our server on 710, maybe a little bit. You're the I think third person from 710 to come by. I'm still waiting on you to join Horde, right? Come on, you know I got love for you. Appreciate you. But yeah, I would actually point you to solo armadas as the direction between Borg and Dominion that I want you to focus on, especially because of how much is going to propel you in the 40s with ship parts and materials. Really, really good loop. So getting accustomed to it and hitting as high as you can now would be a good recommendation, in my opinion. Very biased opinion, in my opinion. I'd worry about silence more at 40. And I'll be honest, if you have a max level 34, then beating silence is all about crews. You're good to go. It's just going to be about crewing it together. And again, thank you, Spartan, for being kind to me and my family. I do truly appreciate it. Amazing. Oh, somebody just tagged me in urgent bugs. Let's see if this is an actual urgent bug. At this point, they removed expansion refines once you max the Talios. Any chance they'll get that back in? No, because that's included in your IA. So that's why it got removed. That's part of your returns in your daily claim in the IA building. Does anyone know why I'm only getting 1,800 credits for Fed when turning in messages in the fact store versus 4,700? All 3 are dignitary. That doesn't make sense, Armadillo. That's off. That's off. That's off. Really off. That's going to be a ticket. That's going to be a ticket. That's definitely a ticket. Now, JB has a good question. Did they upgrade one today? But still, that's a big difference for even that. That's a pretty stark difference. I put in a ticket and then keep me informed of what they say. And we'll see if we can't look into it. All right. A server today that I can solo the Borg expansion queues in my 58 account, but I have the IA max for tally, so credits for nothing. I mean, yes. All right, and there's just some things that you're going to get that you no longer need with this. Like, for example, the Monavine, you still get the shipyard directives. Why do you still get shipyard directives? Because every now and then there's some event that needs you to do those things. So they're going to give you the directives to do those things, even though you don't directly get the rewards for turn-ins anymore. It's so that you can always have those available for events. So yeah, it ends up meaning you claim something that you don't technically need for once in a blue moon. But that's why it's there, to give you sourcings that you can do it for events. I think it's fine and logical. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free, right? But that's the logic. And you're welcome, Armadillo. I wish I had an answer. Kevin says arenas is horrible. I face a 110 million Pilum at 46. How's that horrible? That's just a normal Pilum. That's just somebody who upgraded their Pilum. That's not horrible. That's just somebody who upgraded their Pilum. I'm a level 45. There's almost 110 million power. Congrats, Chris. I have the BP efficiency favor and the credits needed to buy the G4 epics. Should I skip the G4 rares and rush to 50? Nope. Just like I tell people to not skip the G4 epics, I don't want people to skip the G4 rares either. I would recommend getting at least one each rung. At least one. It's becoming cheaper and easier to do it now. That's going to help you make sure you do all the solo wave mechanic, the solo armada mechanics. I definitely don't recommend it. And I think that's a good example. Solo waves are a big thing right now. Remember, when you get to level 50, what does the game want you to do? It wants you to do the G5 solo waves. Well, if you're only running out there with one G5 or G4 epic and your other ship is a Katinga, man, you're going to be really up Heck Creek without a paddle. So, would definitely not recommend skipping. Now, I'm not saying you need to max it out, but I think picking up one for the average player, general advice, is still the way to go. If you're a spender of some sort or something like that, you can probably work around it. Yeah. G4 rares are great. They have loot bonuses. I do love the loot bonus on the G4 rares, and all three of them have it. So it's not like you have to be picky about which one you go after. All of them have the exact same ship ability, which is nice. But yeah, general recommendation. Consumables done. All right, what else? Let's check our events. Currently scrapping your OG Pilum for parts. I know that day is going to come, but what I'm trying to do, Hellcats, is max it out first. And that way I can use it towards the Rotaran and doing the same thing with the Tribune to the Dare decks. So, G4 rares are all nice, but the Pilum is the best. I mean, that's opinion, but you know what? You're allowed to have your opinion in this chat. Believe it or not, Rev does not subdue opinions. Opinion's bad. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, I have a Pilum. I can't talk trash about the Pilum. Pilum is nice that it's faster than a Newton, but I will go ahead and tell you, and I'm not just saying this from Klingon bias, there's no difference in today's game between a Pilum and a Coronar. I mean, they're the same thing. Whatever you like. Either's good. Still reminds me, the Pilum that is, of the Bentuzi from Homeworld. Like a Bentuzi ship with wings. You know what? Whatever you enjoy is the right answer. Garvey says, I have 50,000 in temporal disruptors, 40 through 45, level to 46 ops, and can't use them. Yes, you can, Garvey. Just not right now. Did you know there's a 15K, well, that's acquire, not spend. That's a lot for you to be sitting on. Homeworld 3 out yet? Yeah, Homeworld 3 is out. Don't ADD me, man. You know how my brain works. Hold on. Let me double check that. Homeworld. Yeah, Homeworld 3 is out. It's on my wish list. I don't have it, though. If anybody wants to get it for me. It's $30.
Hyperspace
on my Steam wish list.
Proximity alert. Reposition.
But I love the original Homeworld. There you go. There's Rev's Steam wish list. If y'all ever wanted to find me on Steam, there it is. If y'all, because I've been trying to get people to come play Rust with us. Me and my wife been playing Rust every night. Great little bonding thing. And that's been a lot of fun. So if y'all want to come play with us, there's your options. Pilum was like a flying toilet seat. What is with the Pilum disrespect right now? What is going on? Why is the Pilum getting such disrespect right now? There was a time where the Pilum was worshipped and revered, just like the Saladin. Now you're just disrespecting the poor guy. It's terrible. Absolutely awful. Honestly, I don't know if the 50 solo waves are possible without a big Tribune in NCA. I don't think they are either, Harrison. But I will say, we have players who have done the G5 solo waves as a level 50, and I think that is really heckin' awesome. Really heckin' awesome. Good to see you, TJ. Welcome, and hope you're having a fantastic day. Good to see you, TJ. Disappointed in you upgrading your mess hall? Yeah, I did finally do it. I did finally start upgrading the mess hall. Honestly, the 69 joke was good, but you know why I finally did it? I just got tired of people asking me when. Truthfully, that is the reason I finally went and did it. I got tired of people asking me when I was going to do it. I just finally went, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to tell anybody. You're the first one to actually notice it. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to do it. So I'll stop hearing about it. That was the final thing. Every stream, every comment, like just, hey, Rev, when you going to upgrade? I did it finally. Now I need to go upgrade my officers because I'm lazy, but finally did it. There we are. Now I can do it again, though, with my other account. We'll get there one day. Get there one day. What other comments, questions do you have? And Target says, thanks for your help tonight. Need to run, as the wife says. Put the bloody phone down and eat your dinner. You tell the wife that she's beautiful, that I appreciate her. Thank her so much for dealing with me and you. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your evening. And remember, don't have a phone at the dinner table. That is incredibly, incredibly horrible manners. We need to enroll you in an etiquette class. Do not have our phone at the table. Bad. Go enjoy time with your wife. Go enjoy time with your wife. When you go into 70, next year-ish. Year-ish? Yeah. Long time away. In a galaxy far, far away. Long time ago. Ask them about G6. I mean, you can ask, but I'm not going G6 for a while. You're more than welcome to ask. G6 is rough. Mid and late G6 is. Early G6, just like what happened with G5, has gotten very doable, free to play. Again, this is the same pattern that it always goes through. So it's not like anything new is happening or major change has happened. This is just the normal pattern and cycle of the game. As we get closer and closer to the new premium area, the previous premium area becomes more accessible, thus encouraging more people to level up. Yada, yada, yada. Song and dance, song and dance. Yeah. That's another movie. Okay. All right, if you go G6, be prepared then. It's not bad. It's not terrible. But I'm not going for a while for many reasons. And I'll be waiting primarily for the newer area of the game to get released. Oh, you're there? We'll just use this. And once the newer area of the game is released, actually, I don't want to use that. I actually want this other crew. All right, we're going to swap this crew out. I actually do want that crew for running the NX-01. So we'll just put you here for now. Because remember, this will give me more with Anorax. He does work on the aquatic battleships to give more of that rare currency when you kill the battleships, which is quite nice. What's your favorite free CT and FT for PvP to help in arenas? Well, that's tough. A CT, there's two of them. Q Cannon and Unimatrix Shielding. So Q Cannon and Unimatrix Shielding is a CT. Wait, are we running Armadas right now? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Hold on. Click a duck. What's going on up here? That's what I get for not having chat open. What in the world? Do we have enough ships here? Oh, I'm on my way. In if room, question mark. Wrong crew and everything. We'll see. But Q Cannon and Unimatrix Shielding are the best CTs. FTs, the ones that are free to play, well, are the, depending on if you picked up the Ferengi Whip, that's going to be the 3 epics. But those are the really only the only answers. And all the epics are the same. It's just based on what ship you're using, right? So whether you have the red matter, whether you have the time crystal, whether you have Thalaron radiation, they're all identical. It's just based on what ship you have. And for this, Q Cannon and then Unimatrix Shielding. So you've been getting your rare Zindi starts from the Section 31 store? Yes. That's actually how I was able to double pull the Zindi earlier today. All right, I'm into this one. Woo! I didn't even know we were doing this right now. So excited. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. But yes, I do pull that now. One of the best things about the DTI, and I mentioned this, and I expected backlash, but nobody said, no, Rev, we disagree. I like it. Wait, nope, Karen. Right? No, DTI. Where the heck is it? I done lost it now. Section 31? Yeah, there it is. Section 31. Yes, I love this. Absolutely. It's 3,500 for a rare Zindy launch. That is an incredibly good value. If you can beat that big Zindy, that is an incredibly good value. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love it. David Galaxy pools. I run a few uncommon solo armadas for Dominion and Borgs for the rest. Yes. You're getting them from the AT store. This is a better value than the AT store. But yeah, I mean, there's the Unimatrix shielding. Make sure I get that. Then also you have these efficiencies down here, which are really good. The Friendship 1 probe and the Amelia plane. Super good. Super good. Oh, my Lanta. I just had people add me on Steam. Oh, my Lanta. There are a lot of people have added me on Steam. Except, I don't know who, I think I know who that is. Except. I don't know who these other people are. So ignore. All right, cool. There you go. Are you going to do a video specifically on Op 60 camping and when to move up? I will be doing one, Joseph. Yes. There'll be a checklist for 60 and going G6. And a lot of that has already come out, which is pretty dope because a few different people have done that with DJ already. But obviously time has changed just in that short amount. So I'll be having a checklist here soonish. But I got to get to 60 first. And the biggest thing I need to do is rep grind. And there you are. Revs needs to rep grind. Simple as that. I need a rep grind. Regarding treasury, do the lock boxes with officers not include ship parts and vice versa? Correct. I think I'm understanding what you're asking. If you see ship parts, that's a ship parts treasury. There will be no officers there. But the officer ones are based generally off star-based treasuries, and those will not have ship parts. So, been saving up to the refinery overhauls and shadow markets. Nice. I need to do the shadow markets as well. But again, the goodies you get from the Zindy rares, so yummy, man. So valuable. Spartan, you did? Awesome. We're going to see lots of like rust and lots of cork. Is that you? You cork? I want to assume, yeah. You're going to see lots of rust and Crusader Kings and Hearts of Iron 4. And before anybody asks, I have a real bad problem just like leaving my games up in the background. So no, Rev's not playing 18 hours of Rust. I promise you, I don't have that capability. All right. I'll dual ground is about a month, 15 bill lock, and then I got a triple lock. But see, the amount that I'm at, I could do this. I could do this in a day if I wanted to. There's one problem with it, though. I am, what is it, the words the kids use? I'm lazy. So I don't do it in a day, but I could do that in a day, no problem in Mirror. I just have this really bad problem of being lazy. So don't judge me. I don't appreciate your judgment. In fact, I'll send a ship out right now to work on it, but I could easily do that in a day. That is about, for my NSEA, 10 mirror runs. That's child's play. Child's play. So let's do multi-purpose exo. Head. Klingon. Child's play. You're doing 1.2 billion in 1 hour? Yeah, so my NSEA gets about 300 million a run. So that's 10 runs. That's easy. I could do it. Will I? Unlikely, but it's very doable. Do exos? Already did. You just saw me activate the exos. I know you did. I know you did. I'm saving all my encrypted intelligence for when I get all 3 factions, and that's smart, Primo. I did not do that because I'm lazy, but that is very smart. I actually need to run more of those formation armadas to get more of that currency. I don't have time to grind rep, and I'm too lazy. See, that's where I'm at. Mostly the lazy side of things, but also, like, I've got to work on a sponsorship that I got offered. I've also got to do several upgrades that need to happen on Twitch. I mean, I got a lot on my list. So I now have Homeworld 3 and U-Boat. Well, thank you, Viper. That's very kind of you. I didn't really think somebody would do it. I appreciate that. That is very, very kind of you. Oh my God, I got a lot of people sending me friend requests now. I guess I should, I mean, I don't care if people add me, but thank you so much. I know you love U-Boat. I know you absolutely love U-Boat. So thank you, Viper. It's very kind of you. You said great things about U-Boat. I know you were playing that pretty hardcore. You're waiting for U-Boats to get added into War Thunder. Why do you say NSEA when you have better ships to grind in mirror space for rep? I mean, generally speaking, my NSEA actually does just as well as my Sompec. I mean, my Sompec can do better, but usually what I do with the NSEA and why I use the NSEA is because most times, obviously during stream doesn't count when I'm rep grinding, but usually what I'll do with the NSEA is I'll go in there, I'll do grinding, and then I'll usually have like 15 minutes left, and I'll go throw it on a node. So it just lets me do 2 for 1. Now, do I do that when I'm just pure rep grinding? No. But generally speaking, when I'm in mirror, I'll go do a quick run of hostiles, and then I'll just go throw it on a node with whatever time is left. And then that way, I'm doing more with less time. I'm not necessarily being efficient with either thing, but I'm doing 2 things at once, and I enjoy that. Like, it makes me feel like I'm getting more done. So that's just what I do. And that's also why I never really have to go specifically mine for what I need in mirror. I'll always have my refines because I'll just do my grinding real quick. Oh, holes down, go throw it on a node. So. Reverend John, good to see you. Hold on. This blow, it did not blow up. And we launched this. Boom! Hold on, give me a second, Reverend John. I'm going to read your question, but if we're doing this, I need to do it. I was going to say, I really thought they were about to beam one of those people. I'm like, why would you beam IA? Actually, beam them. Please beam IA. I want to go destroy Iron Fister right now. I want to start a war. Oh, I want to start the war again. But let me get my Kishara going, and I'll answer that question. All right, I don't want to lose it. Camping at 45. Should I max out the faction ships and jump to 50? I'm on the edge. I mean, I would. Again, that kind of goes back to the question earlier. I would not skip 46 without picking up a faction ship. At the same time, if you're able to complete all your milestones, if you're able to complete all the PvE content, nothing wrong with not staying at 46 very long and then going to 50. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. But I would not just like fly to 50 and skip all the content. Here's why. And maybe y'all agree with this logic, maybe you don't, that's completely fine. In Star Trek Fleet Command, there is a limited amount of fun. I'm not trying to be mean to the overlords. We just know how, it's not even Star Trek Fleet Command. Every free-to-play game that's built on this model has specific things that are meant to be painful. You have pain in your future. If you're watching this stream, let me go ahead and tell you, you have pain in your future. If you know there's some place that is fun, everybody talks about 46 being fun, 50 being fun, then enjoy. Enjoy those areas of the game. Don't fly past them. Because I promise you, not every level is equally fun. In fact, it's the exact opposite. A lot of levels are horrible, which is why so many people bypass them. So don't bypass the levels you know all your friends have talked about being fun. All right, go to 46, get that new ship, experience the fun of having a new ship, complete the goals you set. That doesn't mean you have to max out everything, and then move. But I would not recommend just flying through levels. I'm very strongly opposed to the, again, just my thoughts. I'm strongly opposed to the opsing up for ops' sake. I believe that's how Scopely wants you to play. I believe it's painful. I do understand that some people like it, but I believe that's just a painful way to play, and it only leads mostly to frustration or forced spending. And I just try to avoid that. I try to get people to avoid that. But yeah, there's Rev's advice. Work with it how you want, because again, there's not just one play style. I do try to really stress that, because there are people who do enjoy that. That's fine. Need to get your ACC up anyway? Correct. Like another reason is there are potential bottlenecks you can run into that you weren't prepared for. Like the fact, have you been upgrading your ACC? I've had players who are in the 40s who have an ACC of like 30. And I'm like, well, guess who's going to be in that level range for a while? So anyway, that's just how I see things. If you know an area can be fun, don't skip it. Enjoy it. Embrace the fun. Thank you for the lurk, Viper. I greatly appreciate it. After I get my Armada center to 50, so I can go to Ops 57, how fast does it go to get to 60? It's pretty quick to get to 59. 60 needs prep work. Just like 49 to 50 is super expensive, or at least was. That's the bottleneck in terms of materials and resources, 59 to 60. Like you need a couple, depending on your researches, you need a couple 100 trillion par steel. That's actually a really low number. You actually need more than that. Say a couple 100 trillion par steel. You'll need a ton of titanium. Not to mention the uncommon 5-star ores and stuff you're going to need for all the buildings. So if you save, like I'm able to do that right now. Like if I wanted to in this moment, randomly on a Wednesday, I could go to 60, but I've also saved for that. Like I've prepped for it. I knew it was coming. So I'm ready for that. But it's not an easy jump. And yes, Jenny, the ACC is the Armada Control Center. So to get into G5, you actually have to maintain your upgrading of your ACC. It becomes a bottleneck that not many people anticipate. Similarly, the heck? I didn't even notice I was that low in health. Guess I should have been paying attention. I didn't even notice how low in health I was. Whoopsies. See, that's why, by the way, I would normally go in, line after. We'll see how much faction rep I got there. I feel like that was only 200 million. I feel like that's low. I mean, granted, I have none of my below decks there because all the below decks are on the NX-01. So my below deck's missing. Not helping. But yeah, the ACC will catch people just like the needing the new dock for 39. And then people are like, well, nobody told me I needed 2,000 2-star crystal. You do. 2,000. Is it 2,000 2-star uncommon crystal? Or is it 3,000? Either way, you need thousands of uncommon 2-star to build your 39. People get stuck there. So. Do the same that you recommended for going G5, 5 months of third HS, a treasury pool too. And I mean, honestly, Primo, if you do that, you'll experience very few problems. I'm going to make sure everybody's here. All right. We're all here. Speed up. Go. Nice. Now, IA being greedy with all the daggum launches. The heck, IA? Stupid 2-star 39. Why? I mean, I can't give you a reason as to why. All I can do is try to prepare people. So, I try to prepare people. I just try to let y'all know it's coming. It's there, right? Be warned. It's there. How about we'll repair this. Get that in. That's probably going to blow that up. But I made this to do the Zen Deep anyway. So that was just a nice little handy extra. A little bit of lanyap. But we're going to go destroy some battleships real quick. And that just gave me enough loot, I think, to be able to double pull that when that timer runs out. Let's go see what we got. And there we go. There's our Kima sites. Got some independent credits. That's random. There's my faction credits from that earlier run. Definitely didn't go as long as I normally do. Not having any of my below deck officers really does put a damper on things. All right. Let's see what we got. Chat. Get it to level 50, which is max. It takes a lot of rare. It does. And then once you get it there, you're done. Like on this account, I'm done. And the main benefit is not only upgrading, you do get that 7th Armada spot, which really helps if you're doing, like what we just did, Zindi Armadas. That 7th ship spot is super helpful because you've got 6 spots for a good while. But that last one is nice. You 49 down to, what was it down to? 39. So 39 through 49. 6 is still good. That 7th one is real nice to have. Just finding it funny how every alliance has a different way to call for armadas. I mean, here we're pretty daggum. You better call for it, or you're not getting starred. Don't just come randomly show up in my armada and you never said anything. Won't boot you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Letting you know, behave yourself. All right. Yeah, every alliance probably has different ways of doing very similar tasks. We call, but we use an X. I guess who can type an X fast? So, yeah. All right, y'all, look, it's been a blast. I'll be streaming again here just in a little bit on Twitch, but I got some more work to do here. Appreciate y'all. Hope y'all having a fantastic day. Live long and plunder. Stay safe for the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleet Command video. Like the video on your way out. Thank y'all for those who take the time to comment on all the other videos. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all later today. Bye.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.